Hi guys, tonight we're going to start a mini project called printing books. We're going to do this project in stages, and tonight we're just going to fill out some tables to help us make decisions about printing books. So let's get started. So here's a scenario we're looking at. The county has decided to purchase Common Core Math 1 textbooks for the school system. The Board of Ed needs to know the cost of providing a 325-page Common Core Math 1 textbook to 3 different schools. So this is important. It is a 325-page Common Core Math textbook. The publisher is making page proofs of the book available, but the schools must make the copies needed for the students. An assistant has done some research and discovered 3 possibilities. You will be using this information that follows to determine which printing process would be the most economical for the school system. So you will be using the information to make a determination on what would be the most economical for the school district. So in the past, the math textbook orders have never exceeded 2,250 books, and the cost has never exceeded $35,000. We're going to fill in the tables below, graph it in class tomorrow, as well as identify general rules, slopes, y-intercepts, and points of intersection, and to do a mathematical analysis of these different options and write a recommendation for the Board of Education to consider. Okay, so part 1 we're going to take a look at together. This is our first option from the local printing company. The Common Core Math textbook can be printed by the local printing company for a cost of $9.50 per book, with an initial cost of $5,000 for typesetting. So we need to write an explicit equation in slope-intercept form to represent this scenario. So first, we want to figure out what's the rate of change. What thing is changing each time we need a book copied, and that would be the price per book, which is $9.50. And the y-intercept is the initial cost, and in this case, the initial cost for typesetting is $5,000. So I want to define some variables first for each of these. For each of these 3 scenarios, X is going to be our number of books, and Y is going to be the total cost. So for our equation up here, Y is the total cost. Each book is $9.50. We don't know how many books we have, and it has an initial fee of $5,000. So in complete sentences, interpret the real-world meaning for the slope and the y-intercept for each equation. So what's the real-world meaning of the slope? Well, the slope is the cost per book. And we want to include that cost. That's $9.50. That's our rate of change. It's the cost per book. The y-intercept represents the setup fee. And that's a one-time setup fee. I think they call it typesetting. So we're going to fill out, and that cost, is $5,000. So we're going to fill out this chart down here using the equation, using this equation right here. So again, we said our number of books was X and our printing cost was Y. So with this particular company, for the local printing company, if we don't buy any books, they're still going to charge us an upfront fee of $5,000. That's the starting fee. Then for each additional book, they're going to charge us $9.50. But we don't want to write in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go by groups of 200. So that's what we're going to fill in here. So 200 books then 400, 6, 8, and so on. And finally 2200. So if we plug this in for x, if we do 950 times 200 plus 5,000, we are going to get a total cost of $6,950. We'll do the same thing for 400. If we plug in 400 for x in this equation right here, and I'm going to write it right here. Again, our equation is $9.50 times each book plus the setup fee of 5,000. So if we can continue with that process, plug in 400 for x, we get 8,800 for y. Plug in 600 for x, we get 10,700. And this is dollars. So you need to, I'm not going to fill these in for you. When you come to class, you need to fill in the remaining boxes. With this particular company, how much is it going to cost us for 800 books, for 1,000, for 1,200, for 1,400, 16, 18, 2,000, and 2,200. So you need to fill in these boxes right here. You need to fill these in. For those of you who are not, do not have the audio on. Okay, so we have two more options. Option 2 is the local copy center. And the Common Core Math textbook can be duplicated at the local copy center for 5 cents per page plus $2 per book. So if you recall on the other page, on the first slide on here, the book that we need to copy was 325 pages long. So if it's 325 pages at 5 cents a page, then that will give us a total just for the pages of $16.25. But we have to include this $2 per book. So $16.25 plus 2 is going to give us $18.25 per book. And again, our Y is the total cost and X is the number of books. And we don't have any Y-intercept. I'm going to write that in here. We don't have a Y-intercept because there's no setup fee. But the rate of change is the price per book, which is $18.25. And that includes 328 pages, 25 pages at 5 cents each, plus the $2 for book binding, so each book is going to cost $18.25. So again, incomplete sentences interpret the real-world meaning for the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope, I guess that's not a complete sentence. The slope is the cost per book, and that includes each page and the binding, and that is $18.25. And there is no y-intercept. Well, there is. So the y-intercept is 0. Because there is no upfront cost or setup fee. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before. We're going to use the equation to fill in the table below. And what equation are we using? We're using this equation right here. So again, we're going to do our books by 200s. because the school does need to order a lot of books. And again, the X is the number of books and Y is the cost. So if we don't have any books at all, it's not going to cost us any money. 200 books, we're going to plug in 200 for X, and so 200 times 1825 is $3,650. If we need to print 400 books, it's 400 times 1825, and 400 times 1825 is $7,300. So you need to complete the table, you need to fill this in all the way to the end, and we'll check those answers in class tomorrow. Option 3 is the school district. So the school district has decided that maybe their own copy center can do this cheaper than everything else, and they are charging 35 cents per page plus an upfront cost of $3,000. So there's our upfront cost of $3,000, and it's 0.035 cents per page. And keep in mind, this is a 325 page book. So just to print one book, the cost per book is $11 and 375 thousandths of a penny, and that is going to be our slope. So it's 11.375. So when we write our equation, the cost of the book is Y. The price per book is $11 and 375 thousandths per book, plus an upfront cost of $3,000. So letter D, using complete sentences, interpret the real-world meaning for the slope and the y-intercept. So the slope is the price per book, which is $11 and 375 thousandths, and the y-intercept which is $3,000, is the setup fee. So again, same table as before, 200, 400, 600, 800. You need to continue that, fill this in. X is the number of books, Y is the cost. If we don't buy any books, it's going to cost the school district $3,000 for the setup fee. If the school decides to print 200 books, it's 200 times 11.375 plus 3,000, and that's 5,275 books. Or I'm sorry, $5,275. If the school decides to print 400 books, it's 400 times 11 and 375 thousandths plus 3,000, and that cost is $7,550. So your job is to complete this table, is to fill this in, and we'll check our answers tomorrow. So there's no Google form tonight. Your homework tonight, complete all 3 tables for number of books and printing costs for option 1, 2, and 3. Bring this paper to class tomorrow. We will use it to complete the graph on the back, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Have a good night.